Alright, so now I just want to go over what it looks like when you enter the game. So we're entering the game as the Paladin that we created at the creation screen, or I created. First thing that's going to happen, it's going to load. So we have the loading screen. It's going to take me to the starting area of the humans. So there should be other level 1s. There might be some higher level characters there just doing other random things. But we're going to go and I'm going to show you what each thing on the screen means. So don't freak out about the interface. It's pretty simple to understand. I'm just going to go over all the things. There is going to be a cinematic that pops up here as soon as it finishes loading. Each race has a cinematic explaining like a little bit about what they're doing there. So as far as humans, I'm not going to watch it. You can watch it. I'm going to skip it. If you ever want to skip a cutscene or a cinematic, all you have to do is hit the escape key, and it will give you a prompt asking if you would like to skip the scene. So I'm going to do that. That way we don't have to. You can watch that and learn all about the humans if you want, or whatever race you choose.
Emboldened by the return of their
There's
hero.
that cutscene, and there's me skipping it. A little short load. Alright, so before we do anything, I want to take a look at the interface. So in the top left corner, you have a portrait. It's of your character with the number right there. It says 1. 1 is the level. So as you level, it'll change up to a maximum of level 120 is the current the level cap, but it changes. And then there's my name, Pelicaninja, and then there's a green bar here that indicates your health. Right now it's at 100%. I have 153 life points. And then here is actually my mana. So this bar, the second bar under that, will vary depending on your class. So because I'm a paladin, I use mana, and mana shows up as blue, and that's the amount of mana I have. Health and mana both can regen on their own, but it also helps if you either heal yourself, but it takes mana to heal. And there's potions and such. Alright, so on the right side of the screen, you're going to see it says the words Northshire Valley. That is the location of where I am. Next to that is a tiny map. It says world map with an M. So if you click it, it'll bring up this map in a small version. There's some tooltips and stuff that show up as well. And then over here, just like you would in a browser or anything, you can expand the map, and you see there right here is the arrow indicating your location and which way you're actually facing on this map. So it might seem confusing at first. As you can see, that everything on this map is displayed. It's because it's the starting area. So you can always use this later, but that's the map. There are hotkeys which will open up things like the map has the M right next to it. So if you do press M on your keyboard, it'll also bring it up or bring it down. And as I said, you can minimize it or whatever. Right here is actually where next to the map it says Winds of Wisdom, experience gain increased by 100%. That is a worldwide, account-wide buff for everyone currently, probably due in part to the coronavirus. But this is where all the buffs, anything that's actually affecting your character, if you mount up, there will be a mount icon there. And then below where it says the name is the mini map. It's another way to look at your map. It has a plus button so you can zoom in a little bit, or minus button. It also has the time on the bottom. If you hover over it, it will tell you both the realm time and the local time. So this realm is actually an hour behind where I am. Where it is 7:17 here, it's technically 6:16 where this realm is stationed, which shouldn't matter. Up here is a tracking button. It says track. You click that, it'll actually give you the option to check off different things that you might need to search for if you're trying to find anything in particular. So, auctioneer, bankers, professions. So you can see all those there. You can just click one and it will automatically show up on the mini map. As you can see, if I hover over where I'm sitting, it says mailbox because there is literally a mailbox right here. So because I checked off mailboxes, they show up. I'm going to uncheck it. And then, speaking of mailbox, whenever you want to select anything or target anything, it's like the action button. You just right-click, and it will automatically use the item. So I right-click the mailbox, pops up, says inbox, and this is where I would do mail. But anyway. So on bottom right corner, we have a couple of different things here. These are equipment containers. This is where your backpack is located. This is where you're going to find all your inventory. You can add additional backpacks as you find them. They have different amounts of slots in them, different, so you can hold a different amount in each of them. Currently, as I said, if you left click or right click the mailbox or the backpack right now, it'll just open up. And we have one thing in our inventory. It's the Hearthstone, and then to use anything, it says use returns you to Northshire Valley. Speak to an innkeeper. Any items you might find that have a use on them, you would just right click to use. So the Hearthstone just will return me to where I am, or wherever I have my hearth set to, and you can change that later. But I just want to continue to go over what was actually visible on your screen. So that's the backpack where you store your items. You can close that down. The backpack button is B. And then down here we have a assortment of different icons which will bring up different things. The far right question mark is just your settings. This is where you can actually go to buy items with real money that you might want to. You can change the settings as well to your computer and stuff like that. You can set macros, key bindings. This is where you would log out if you need to leave the game. Logging out will just bring you back to the character select screen. Exiting the game will completely exit the game for you. So that's it. It's pretty straightforward if you've ever played any game. So I don't want to assume you've played anything. So next to that is the shop button. Like I said, it lets you. This is introduced, relatively new. It's later in the game, since the expansions, I should say. Anyway, and you can just look at all the different things you can actually purchase with money if you want. As I said on the last video, there's different things you can buy, such as faction change if you want to change your faction later. One thing that is not actually available is class change. As I mentioned, I mentioned it was available, but you cannot change your class later. I mean, you can buy a new character. You actually pay to level up all the way if you feel like it, but you can change your race, your appearance, and your name and stuff like that. Anyway, that's not important to how we're going to play, so let's continue on. The adventure guide will not be available until you unlock it, so that'll come later. Collections, this is where your mounts and your pet, like things, mounts are things that you ride, so at level 1 you can't actually ride anything unless you have this a chauffeur mount, which is like an heirloom, which I'll get into later, but it also shows all your pets that you've collected. The cool thing about this is that the game is account. Like you have some things that are account wide, so that means collecting any pets, you can actually access any pets you collect on any character with your other characters, for the most part. There are some exceptions, which would be between Alliance and Horde. If you have an Alliance character, some items aren't available on the Horde, and vice versa. But right now you can see I have all your pets carry over. So I have 779. There are a lot of pets to collect, and those are used for battling and just having out. So that's where your collection of items are. There's toys, which are also account-wide as long as and mounts. And here's the heirlooms I was speaking of. Heirlooms are things you get when you're actually when you level up all the way. Basically, you can actually purchase items to help you level. So you can go here to heirlooms and automatically what'll happen is when I clicked it, it actually created that item, and it's just an heirloom item, and it will scale with me up into this one will scale to a level 100, and so and it will give me increased experience. So as far when you're actually leveling, let's say a second character, and you don't want to take as long to level, you can equip all of this armor that you've purchased using your leveled up character. So I'm just gonna throw on this clothes. Everything. The neat thing is you can filter out. It'll automatically show you what you can use as I'm a paladin, so my paladin items show up here. So I'm just gonna throw this stuff on here. As you can see, it took off what I was wearing. It switched out my pants. I'll get to the inventory here. Might as well skip to that. So there's the character info button here on the far left. If you click that, it'll actually show you what you're currently wearing and have equipped on your character. This includes clothes and any accessories, and they give you different buffs and things, depending. So as a paladin, I can wear plate. There's different sets of armor. Plate is the one that paladins can wear. It's the heaviest armor. So as you can see on this item I have, when you hover over it, it automatically shows the details. It's showing you the item level. Item levels are basically how you determine the power of the level. I mean the item, not your character. Item levels vary. They're usually around, the higher they are, the better they are. But there's also a requirement for most items. Like you have to be a certain level to equip items. So what you're seeing here is the heirlooms. It says strength, stamina, critical strike, intellect. Intellect is grayed out. So whenever you're looking at anything, any words, you'll notice different fonts, or not font colors. So with the pants that has they're white, it means that they're useful. I can equip them and they have a purpose. Um, if you can see, I haven't collected anything yet. So as I pick up items, I'll go over the different color things. But I just want to show you the character things here. You can equip all the empty slots here for necks, skin, tabards, wrists, your weapon slots, hands, and all the other assorted things here. So as you progress, we'll collect items and put them on. Here we have reputation. It's just you're standing with the current the different groups in the alliance, and you'll meet other factions as you go along, other groups, and you start out as neutral or sometimes unfriendly or even friendly, and it can level up all the way to exalted and beyond. So you'll learn certain things you do give you reputation. But next to the character info is your spell books and ability. So for all the classes you have, there's going to be a spell book, and it's just going to list all the different things you can do. So as a paladin, I start out with one spell, Crusader Strike, that is automatically equipped. You can drag these items and equip them to your bar here. So as you can see down here, this is your action bar. So you can equip most things that you can use or in your spells. This is mostly for your spells. You can put them down here. I have it set, I don't know if it's always going to be this way, but you can either drag it off. I have to shift click it, and it will shift left click, and it will allow me to pick it up. I can actually let go, and it will disappear. But when I bring it out of the book, you just left click it. Spells come with different things on them. As you can see, it says what the spell requires: melee range, so I have to be within, I would say like 5 feet, mostly melee range, to be able to use it. It is an instant. It says instant, which means that it doesn't require any sort of casting. It'll instantly happen. There is a cooldown, which means it takes, and it says 6 seconds. That means it'll take 6 seconds before I can use it once I've used it once. And then it tells me what the spell does. So it says strike the target for 17 physical damage. As I said, paladins are physical attackers, so it'll do 17 damage. The numbers will change as you level up. So the basic idea is that this is a spell that is going to strike your target and do damage. It says it generates 1 holy power at the bottom. The holy power is a paladin specific thing. So that we'll get into later. Right now, it won't help. I mean, we're not going to go into it. All the grayed out spells here, these are spells you can learn later. If you notice underneath the name of the spell, it actually says the level that you will get that spell. So you can always take the time to learn and look at all the spells that you're going to be getting. There's a few pages here. You can click through at that. Right now, as I mentioned, there's specializations. Paladins have retribution, and it automatically may set you as a retribution paladin. And then there's also going to be holy and protection as well, and that will change your spells a little bit. And when you switch between specs, it will reset your action bars and everything as well, so that way it stays set to whatever spec you're using, and you don't have to change everything around. Oh, someone died. Anyway, at the moment, you can't change your specialization. You have to reach a certain level before it'll let you do that. I believe it's 10, yeah. So once you hit 10, you will have the option to change your specializations. And when you change it, you can always switch back and forth. You just have to take the time to change in between them. So also on the spell books is the professions. This is something you can learn. It's like a hobby. It's like a little thing. You can do different professions. We'll get to that when we find the profession trainer. You have to be level 5 to learn professions, any profession anyways, and we're level 1, we're not going to worry about it. But there are going to be plenty of different things you can learn, like mining, skinning, and you can use those materials that you get from that to create, you can become a blacksmith as well. You get 2 professions. And then there's 3 secondary professions. which you can get in addition to your first two. So everyone can learn how to be a cook, and learn how to fish, and be an archaeologist. Those are things that you can read the tooltips here if you want, but that's where your professions will be located. Next to that would be the specializations and talents. As I said, retribution, holy, and
Greetings.
the third one. But anyway, they won't show up till level 10, and then you'll notice your specializations and talents. So at level 1, all it wants you to do is focus on the limited things here. So next to that, we have the achievements. You may not have achievements yet. It might not show up for you until you actually achieve one. But once you do, it'll have all the achievements you can get will be either listed and grayed out, and there's some stats as well. As you can see, it just keeps track of things. All you do is you gain achievement points, and yeah, some of the achievements are account wide, so they actually carry over from other accounts. Some are character specific, and you can only earn them on one single character. That's just, you can take a look at all that if you're into achievements. Achievement points themselves are more not. I don't believe they unlock anything. They just are for show, really. Um, so there's that. Next to that would be the guild. If you're in a guild or you want to join a guild, it's the guild achievements. And then we have statistics here, so you can see as I'm a level 1 and haven't done anything, there are no stats for my character. But if I were to open up one I've played for a while, it's kind of neat how it keeps track of things. You can see how many times you've died, how many times you've killed a certain enemy, different things like that. So that's kind of neat. There is a lot to look at here, so there's plenty to do. Next on the thing is quest log. This is very important. If you hit quest log now, it actually brings up the map. I don't have any quests, so what we're going to do is get a quest real quick. So this guy here is standing, when you first spawn, you're going to be right by a quest giver, no matter which race you choose, you're going to see a quest guy. This guy is Marshall McBride. I right-clicked on him, it automatically brought up a quest that I can choose. There's different settings in your game. You might have it set to where it slowly scrolls and reads you the quest before you get to the bottom, but I have it set to automatically open up the whole thing. So you can see, you can read the quest, and it will tell you exactly what you need to do. If you get down to quest objectives, you can see the short end of it is kill 6 Blackrock wargs. Most quests are going to be similar in that they're just going to have you kill something, or loot something, or something like that. And then there's going to list the reward that you can get. And as the reward down here is going to be some gloves. And usually the rewards you're going to get are going to be for your character. They're not necessarily going to be useful, but there'll be something. And you can see that there is a price listed, a sell price at the bottom too, 2 copper. So we'll get to that later, but you also receive some money as compensation for completing the quest and some experience. So you choose to accept the quest. And now you see that he has a gray question mark above his head, meaning the quest is in progress. I have not completed it. And now when I hit quest log, down here at the bottom, it now lists on the right side of the map the quests. There are account-wide quests that you can get. Like, I have all these battle pet quests, which carry over from different accounts. So looking here, the quest we just accepted is right there. And if you look on the map, there's this blue area now right next to us. And all that means is that's generally the area in which you need to go to find the quest item. So right now it's to find the wargs and slay them. They're going to be in this blue area. So you can close this map out. The last thing that I can actually show you right now as a level 1 is guild and communities. If you're in a guild is just where you and your friends, or even just people you meet in game, you can join basically a group, and you'll have your own private chat, and you'll have access to different things. And it's a good way to find party members if you're in, and if you find a guild that wants to do what you're looking to do. I wouldn't jump into a guild right away. There are some benefits, but as a level 1 with nothing going on, you don't really have to need a guild. So right now I put on some random armor. So now what we're going to want to do is complete the quest. Obviously, we've looked at everything on our well, we didn't look at everything, did we? The bottom left here, this is actually a chat log. Not much has happened. You can change this if you want, but it's in general set up to show you what's happening, what you're interacting with. So it says here I created all these heirlooms. You can like click on them too, and it will actually give you this little this tooltip here that shows me what it is. At the bottom it says already known. It's just something I'm wearing, and it tells you I accepted the quest. If I were to chat, I could say like I could type when you want to chat in game, all you just hit enter, and it brings up this prompt at the bottom here. It says say. Right now, if I type in say uh, anything, if I were to type in letters and hit enter, it would then show it to the area, to the chat, the general chat in the area in which I am. Since I'm in the starting area, there isn't really anyone around. It's just the people in the starting area. And since I actually, if you do just say it, it's actually within the vicinity of yourself, so within a certain distance, like 20 yards. There's probably a specific number, but it's in general just anyone within your around you can see when you just say words. There are going to be different commands that allow you to speak to different people. Someone's getting punched by a wolf. Um, if you were to hit enter and hit slash P, it would put you into the party chat. So when you're in a party with people, which we won't go over yet, so for now, let's just know that you can type by hitting enter and bring up the prompt in which you can talk to generally people around you by typing in that. And if you hit slash Y, that is yelling. And if you yell, you'll actually reach more people in the vicinity, but just in the area you're in. It's usually in the just around your character. So as you can see around me, there are different people standing around, different things. People in these guys like here in the blue with the dark blue names, those are actually allies. They're other players, people playing characters. Um, so that you can see them running around. You can't fight them or you can duel them, but they're just generally, that's how you can tell they're players. This is an NPC. He doesn't have
Well met.
anything above his name until I click him. And when you click on a person, you'll actually see a portrait pop up next to your portrait at the top left corner, and it gives you their health and whatever else, their level. And
King's honor,
yeah,
friend.
since he shows up green, you know he's a friendly. He's a
Need help?
friendly ally NPC. The NPCs that are showing up for me
Greetings.
with the green above their head are actually people that you can interact with that usually have something to sell or can train you or just have something to say. So this guy I can sell things to, and since I have some items, I'm going to quickly just sell. Like I said, I just took this off. I don't need it anymore. It says 4 copper. I'm going to right click it. It's going to sell directly to him. You can only sell to people if it tells you in the bottom left. Well, if you try to sell it and they take it. But everywhere you go, anything you sell is going to have the same price as far as selling it to a vendor. And an NPC vendor will always pay you the
For
same
the
amount
Alliance.
for
I
item no
supply
matter where
only
you
the
are.
finest
You
goods.
can always buy back an item. Say you accidentally sold something. There's this quick buyback button here. You just right click it and it will just reverse. And you can always hit buyback and it will show you up to this many items that you just did. So that can happen. I'm not sure how long that'll just stay up there though. As you can see, this guy is selling bags, bread, and water. Bread would help me restore my health faster. In between combat, you can sit and eat food, which will restore your health if your health is really low and it takes forever to go back. Mana, if you need to get mana back, you can buy some water.
See you later.
King's
Water
honor,
or
friend.
any liquids, drinks, you can eat and drink at the same time. There's a tooltip that says that in the
Light
middle of
bless
loading
you.
screens too. I'm just quoting. But anyway, you can see out here the wolves, these worgans, are actually in yellow. Yellow means they are neutral, and they will not attack you unless you attack them. You have to start combat with them. These guys here are actually, they're yellow too, but because we have a quest for these wolves, that's why their highlighted bars are actually showing up above them, because they are they're what I need to kill for the quest. And if you hover over them, it will tell you, it'll actually say the name of the quest and how many it says 1 out of 6 wargs that I've killed already. So now, to attack, you can just hit, if you were to right click the enemy or the thing you're trying to attack, it will automatically do an auto attack. Auto attacking is usually not the best way to start combat or to combat at all. You're always gonna use your skills to attack. So even though I just auto attacked that wolf to death, you don't even have to attack more than once. You just right click, it automatically sets me to attack. And once you start attacking, you won't exit combat with them until you click off of them. So since I left clicked off of the warg, it's still attacking me because it's aggressive now that I've attacked it. If you try to get away from things, you can run away, and it will chase you to a certain distance. And if I were to want to get away from the thing, I would have to run far enough for it will turn around and run back to where it was. So if you ever feel like you can't kill something, you need to get away, just run. Um, so as I said, auto attacking is okay, but what you see down here is the spell. So you can either click the spell, and it will automatically cast the spell that you've clicked. For me, I'm a melee. I have to be within melee range because I'm a paladin I'm using an axe as my weapon, not magic disengage. And when I click Crusader Strike, it actually just automatically attacks. And you can see that when I click it, there's so many sounds. As I click the button to attack the wolf, and now that I've killed all the wolves, by the way, it says there's a check mark down here you can see, and it's grayed out. It says 6 out of 6 wolves have been killed. So we're good there. We can once you've completed a quest, you have to return to the quest giver or to whatever location that you need to complete the quest. This time it's right back with the same guy who gave you the quest. Usually it's going to be the same person who gave you the quest, but there's always some quests that direct you to go somewhere else. So now that I've completed the quest, you can see above his head is actually a yellow question mark. That means that it's ready. I completed a quest for this man. I can right click him. It will show you the rewards again. You hit complete quest. Bam. I've received the experience, and that ding, that yellow glow around me is actually me leveling up. And now I've reached 3. I leveled up once while I was fighting wolves as well, but I missed it. And then usually if you're in there's a quest chain is what it would be called, is when it's a series of quests given by one quest giver. It's usually not just one quest by someone. It's usually part of a series. So now that I've completed that first one, he wants me to now kill 8 Blackrock spies. You can read it and learn what he wants to do, or like I said, skip down here to the quest objectives. Gives you a brief idea what you need to do.
Careful.
And once I accept the quest, it's going to show up again, the blue area on the map. You can see up on the mini-map, or if you hit M, there's a map. Brings you up the blue area where the location of your quest is going to be. So he gave me some gloves. So if you look at the gloves and you shift, if you hold down shift while you're hovering over an item, it will bring up the whatever you're wearing, and so you can compare the two. I wasn't wearing any gloves, so I just right clicked it. You could also open up your character screen and then click and drag the item to the slot for that item, but it's much easier to just right click and it will automatically put on the item you're holding. What's going on here? So I'm going to just switch to the sword for fun. One thing I didn't really mention or show was that what happens when you kill something. So
I'm out of range.
Oh, since I leveled up, I did learn a new spell, and it automatically appeared on my action bar down here. And on the screen here, it says in the chat log here, the log, it will tell you, it says you have learned a new spell, Judgment. You can left click it, it will tell you a little bit about it. As long as you have room on your action bar for a spell, if you learn a spell, it'll automatically jump onto your action bar. So I didn't know if I noticed this before, but in addition to just learning Judgment, you can see it gives me is a 30-yard it has a 30-yard range, and it's instant with a 12-second cooldown, which means I can actually use it from up to 30 yards away. And as you can see down here, I don't know if you can see, the first spell, Crusader Strike, is actually, I'm going to switch these two, Crusader Strike is red, which means I'm out of range. And since now you can see Crusader Strike, or Judgment, this spell right here, is white, which means this guy over here that I have targeted, you left click to target things, I've targeted the Blackrock Spy, which is the objective of my quest. And then I can hit I can either click the one or press it on my keyboard, hit 1 on the keyboard since that's the location. I just killed him with 1 Judgment, so he died from a range. And it has a 12-second cooldown. As you can see, the black bar does time out like a little clock, and you'll see it's ready. So what I just did, when you kill something that you can loot, usually you have to hit something or do any damage to something in order to loot it. And you can see that it's sparkling. So if it's sparkling, that usually means there's something that you can pick up off of the character. So you have to be within a certain range, melee range probably. Yeah, you can see that there's a money bag over him. The money bag is how you loot. Right now it's grayed out, which means I'm too far away. So once I get close enough, it turns a nice brown color. I right click. It brings up the items that this man has dropped, or whatever you've killed. And it says 4 copper. You can then left click it and pick it up, and it enters. Your money is listed down here at the bottom in your backpack. It says I have 45 copper. So earlier when I killed some wolves, I picked up whatever they were holding. This shed fur I picked up off of them, and a rabbit's foot. You can see that those items are actually listed in gray font. gray font is just, it means it's common, and it serves no purpose. It literally can't be used for anything, but you just sell it. It's just to be sold to vendors. You can't use it for anything. I picked it up. You can set in your settings. Whoa, one shot. You can see that the NPCs, these are NPCs, they're not players, but they have scripts apparently. He just yells, beg for life. Yeah. So you want to use your spells. It's much easier to use your hotkeys, but at first I can imagine you might not be familiar enough with the keyboard, so you want to just click the spells as you go.
I don't have a target.
I'm going to continue to.
It's too far away.
You can see in purple every time I kill something.
I need a target.
See how this guy killed that person, but I can't loot it because he killed it. I didn't. If I were to help kill it, like let's say he hit this wolf and I helped finish the wolf, we both get the loot off the wolf, and it gives everyone the loot. Like it gives a different loot, but sometimes. But if you don't hit something, you won't get the loot. So you can't just follow someone. You have to actually target and tap a character. The NPCs here are just standing here to help. Sometimes there are NPCs around that can help. You can't really like recruit them, but if they're close enough to something, they'll attack. You can see in purple it says experience 103. You gain experience by killing things or completing quests, but whenever you kill something and it pops up like that, that's the experience. You see down here at the bottom, underneath my action bar, is some purple bar here. It says experience, and it gives you a number out of a number. That's how far you are into a level. So as you gain more experience, the purple goes up until you hit max, and then it will reset, and you'll get the next. You'll level up, and then you can continue adding experience. If there are you can see that the wolves have leveled up to 2. Before they were level 1. The game is set up to scale enemies. So most places you go to, not everywhere, but you'll notice that the enemies are going to be around your level. That way you can continue to level and quest into any area, regardless of how fast you're leveling up. Or if you want to go visit an area, that it gives you more opportunity, more areas to cover and play around with than just the areas like this. As you continue to level, so will the enemies, and the quest will still give you experience. If you were ever to be in an area where the enemies are lower level than you, if they're too low level, they'll actually show up as gray. That's the system you should learn. If it's gray, it means it's basically useless. You won't gain any experience from a gray level enemy, or if it shows up gray. If it's green, it means it's okay. It's like halfway between gone, no experience. You'll still get some experience if it's green, but not all the experience you would. And if it's red, it's actually too difficult, or it suggests that you level up more before you do it. So there are going to be some areas where you'll notice the enemies are too high level for you. If they're over 10 levels higher, they'll show up as a skull. They won't have a number, they'll just have a skull, which means they could be anywhere from 10 levels higher than you to the max level or higher. It really just depends. So, yes. You see this pet I have, I brought my pet out. It doesn't actually attack with you or anything, unless you're a hunter, and then in which case you would have a separate pet, but not the same collective, not a pet. These are just sort of companion pets. They're not necessarily... They're just more for show. They do some tricks, and like I said, there's a battle pet system. It's a lot like just playing Pokemon in game. You can find other.
It's too far away.
Combat pets. Those are the ones that are shared across my character. So it doesn't take long to level up once you get the feel of things. If you most likely won't have to worry about dying in the starting area for sure. One thing that we haven't come across yet, which we will here in a second, and I'll show you that, is that when a monster isn't yellow, if it's not neutral, it's aggressive or friendly.
King's honor, friend.
You can't attack anything that's green. Anyone that's green, you can't attack. It's like if you come across an NPC and it's green, it has a green name, you can't do anything about it. Just because I don't want to drag this out anymore, because at this point all you would do is you'll see on the mini map up here the yellow exclamation point. That's like I said, that's where you need to go to turn in a quest, If you look at your mini map, you'll notice if there's exclamation points, you can see where quest givers are, so you can find them and then get the next quest. Most of the time, the quests are gonna link you or tell you where to go, and you'll follow them in the commands. Though I just wanted to come over here so I could show you these guys. They're level 4, and their names are red. If they're in red, that means they will attack you. They are aggressive. They are not neutral. They see you, they will fight you. Now, this is all level based. If I were to be higher level than them to a certain point, the range at which I could get close to them would go up. So I could almost walk up to their face before they would start attacking me. But if they were higher level than me, they would attack me way before I got close to them. So like if this guy was 10 levels higher than me, right now would be very bad, and I would have to run. That's yeah. So one other thing here, let me see. There's a racial ability. Let me show you that. If you go to the spell books and hit general, you do see a list of just general spells. It has auto attack listed if for some reason you want auto attack on your thing, so you can turn it off on using click. You can. Beneath that is a racial ability. Every race has a different racial ability. For humans, it is remove all stun effects and it has a 3-minute cooldown. That has already been applied to my action bar down here. So remove all stun effects would just be if I were to get stunned, which can happen if an enemy has an ability that stuns you. You can get out of it by just clicking it. Next is, for me, it says revive battle pets. I do know that battle pets require you to have a subscription, so a trial account will not allow you to use battle pets as for fighting. Beneath that, you see armor skills. It just gives you a list of, it says starting at level 50, you will receive 5% increase to your primary stat for wearing plate armor. It used to be a long time ago that you actually had to get to a certain level before you could wear plate as some classes. But now it just allows you to wear plate no matter what. You just apparently get a bonus from wearing all plate at one point. And as a paladin, because you can wear plate, you should wear plate. And most things that are going to be made for you anyway are going to be plate. The stats on the items are very important. Right now, at level 1, the items you pick up will be like these boots, and they won't have anything but armor listed. And I can wear plate, so anything plate armor I'm gonna wear. And most of the quests are gonna give you items at first until you get all the gear you can get. You're not gonna find a neck piece or any rings or trinkets for a while. And as far as tabards go, they don't give you any benefit to your character. They're just for show. There are some that have some unique equip things, but other than that, they don't do anything. And a shirt. You don't have to wear a shirt either. Shirt goes under your chest armor, so you can always take your armor off, like you can see here. Whoops. Ooh. And then that take it off. The neat thing is, there is something called the closet where you can, like, let's say I want to see what this item looks like on me. If you hold down Control and then left click an item, if you hold down Control, you'll see a magnifying glass pop up over an item when you're hovering over it. If you were to left click that, like I left click this axe, it now shows me with that item, so I can see what it looks like. Another neat thing, when you collect items of green quality, so a lot of everything's based on colors. So when an item shows up with a green, right now, see that's blue, that's just an heirloom. But if it were to be like a bright green, like an NPC's name, that would mean that the item would be, well, common, but it usually has stats. So unless it's green, it won't have stats. Green and up. Green, blue, purple. Yeah. It's kind of slow, but this is pretty much what level 1 will be like. It doesn't take long to level up. You can hit 5. I could hit 5. I'm 4 right now. And once you hit 5, you finish the quest here, it will actually take you to the next area. I just don't want to ruin all that for you, so I just wanted to give you a general idea of how it is to be a character.
I don't have a target.
At level 1. And just learning things.
I'm out of range.
I will skip ahead later and show you what it's like to be
far
a
away.
higher level. But for now, that's it. Yeah. I think that's it for now. Go ahead and just, as I said, when you're ready to quit or end your game, it's best to be in a safe area. In the starting area, there actually isn't, anywhere safe. But there's actually places, like if you were to go to an inn or in a major city, you would see up here in the left corner, it has your number there, your level. That would change, and you would be safe. Like once you're in a, I can't show you here because it's not safe, but if you were to go to the next area where the inn is, and you sat down, it would automatically, you would still gain an experience bonus. Right now, if you hover over your experience bar, it says normal, 100% of normal experience gained from monsters. But if you were to rest in an inn, you gain a rested experience thing. So over time, the longer you sit in an inn and not play, you'll get an experience bonus from being rested until you reach that. You fill that up, and then it will go back to normal. Um, if you're in an inn too, or a major city, and you hit log out, I'm going to show you. So I went to the question mark, and I'm going to hit log out. It's going to give me a timer, 20 seconds. That timer, you can still leave by hitting exit. Oh, wow. This is insane. What you're seeing, actually, this is good. That is someone on the horde. So if I left click them, it says they are a blood elf paladin with a question mark and a skull. That means they're probably max level if they're here for some reason. They're just messing around. They're doing this is what I was saying, PvP. They're just fighting guards. This isn't normal activity. This is just something that they obviously wanted to do. I don't know why they're here, but they're just showing off, or I guess they just want to kill some guards. They can't do damage to you. PvP is set up a little differently. You have to actually turn on PvP now. So that way you won't have to bother fighting or dealing with people like that. Like if I was in an unsafe area where my PvP was on, player versus player, they could just kill me in one hit. It would, or less than one hit. It would just be, they could look at me and I would die because I'm level 4.
What can I do for you?
But yeah, they're just fighting random guards. You can see all the NPCs are dying. So as I said, we can't target a green, but obviously for the opposite faction, that would be the horde. Anyone on the horde would see there are friendlies as enemies. Most of the time, guards are just gonna keep spawning. So these guys that they're fighting are just gonna keep spawning since they're in the starting area, or just if they were in a major city or somewhere, they're not gonna just stop spawning. They're gonna keep coming, and they actually do get stronger. You can see it shows you, since this is my friend, it's a level 123 guard that is currently attacking. That was a level 4, but they're level 123 fighting this paladin. And so, as I said before, paladins are really strong. So that is a max level paladin, and I'm a level 4. So if you want to be a paladin and do that crazy stuff, that's just a little bit of what it is. And you see next to their name is a and then it tells you since they're not from this realm, they're from Zul'jin. Zul'jin is the name of the realm they're on, the server. The realm we're on, I think, is Illyria. So to them, we show up as Pelicaninja with our thing next to it. So I'm just going to wave. Oh, you can do emotes instead of talking. So if you were to hit enter and then hit slash, you could then type in different things to see if different things happen. You can dance, wave, other things to different characters. I'm gonna slash lol. If you hit slash lol, you just laugh. So you can see, you can roleplay a little bit or just have fun. But anyway, that was kind of a neat thing to show you that, see, they're not able to attack me, but they can't really, the reason I'm emoting is they can't hear me anyway. If I speak, it would show up as just gibberish to them. It would show them some made up language. The same would happen for me. Okay. That's a goblin shaman, and you see the mount they're riding? That is a 2-person mount, so they can jump on with them. That's a flying mount too. Flying you can start doing around level 40, I believe. In certain areas allow you to fly, not all areas. And so that's a neat thing you can look forward to. But up until level 40, you have to walk. Level 20, you get a mount. So as I said, I have a chauffeur, but that's it. Man, that was kind of cool. See, they just spoke, and it's in red. And that means they yelled, and it's in a bunch of words that I can't understand because they are speaking Goblin. And I'm a human. I don't speak Goblin. So anyway, That's just some random, like I said, random things can happen. You can do PvP or PvE. We were just doing, what I showed you was PvE. What they were doing technically wasn't PvP because they weren't fighting other players, but they were definitely fighting NPCs, which is PvE. But either way, that's not something normal people, I mean, normally, you don't have to, nobody, there's no quest for that. That's just something some people like to do. Um, But yeah, if I wanted to attack them right now, I don't believe I could have. Even if I wanted to. Uh, Once you unlock your talents and stuff at level 10, there will be PvP talents and stuff, and there will be the option to switch on PvP. At which point I could have been turned in. I would be open for game.
Hello.
I could have been murdered.
Have a good one.
So anyway, I wanted to just show you how to log out, I guess. Because the rest is just quests. As I was trying to say before we were interrupted by that, if you were to hit exit game, it would take you out automatically. But since we're not in a safe or in an area that we feel rested, it would actually, your character would sit wherever you are for 20 seconds. So if I was being attacked by something and I tried just exiting game, I would continue to be attacked for at least 20 seconds. That's the only difference between logging out in a safe area and logging out in a not, and the fact that you would get a bonus, a rested buff. So that's the general thing. Oh, other thing here, you hit your social thing is down here too. I forgot above the chat. If you click that and you have any friends added on, it will actually show their names and if they're logged in or not. You can hit set up to ignore people and recruit people if you would like. So yeah, you can always hit me up if you want to be recruited. I would love to get some of these rewards, and I think we both do. We get a shared amount, and I can recruit up to 4 people a month, so, or 30 days. So it also gives you the option up here to let you can say that you're away or busy, and you can set up a thing, a message, a broadcast saying, hey, don't talk to me right now. I'm not here. I had to use the bathroom. So that's neat. Okay, so we're gonna try to log out. So when you hit log out, you're automatically gonna go into this seated position. You don't have to worry about anything. If you're trying to switch characters, and that's why you're logging out, that makes sense. Then you would just wait. But if you're just trying to leave and you're done, just hit exit game. There's no point in logging out and then exiting game unless you're trying to switch characters, in which case you log out. If we were in a safe area and I hit log out, it would automatically log out. There wouldn't be a 20-second cooldown. I wouldn't have to worry about that. And then it just brings you back to the character screen if you wanted to switch characters and play someone else. So that's it for now. I know that was a lot, and yeah, I just like having a lot of fun doing this. So playing these characters. Next time I'll probably go in a little further, either with a level, let's say 10 or maybe even skip to 20 character, just to see where you go from there. Maybe 20, or maybe a different class instead of just Paladin, just so you can see what it's like to level up maybe a mage or someone who casts instead of fights melee. So we'll see where that goes for now. I also want to do some fun stuff too, with me just doing so you can see what other things you can do besides just level up. But I hope someone gets interested, or anyone, or just even if no one does, I still had fun doing it. So, all right, that's it. Hope to see you later.